When everything seems fine on paper, especially going into a new year like this, you really got to pay attention to how you feel and if you feel off or not, if you feel off internally. When everything looks fine on the surface, but when you really think about it deep down, something feels misaligned. Something feels like it's not quite clicking all the way. A gear feels off. Something feels like it's out of place. And that's because stability can mask stagnation. You're falling into these routines, you're falling into these new habits, you're falling into what you want to do next, and you're trying to get all these things in order, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. You should be doing those things, but you got to pay attention to if you feel aligned with those things or not. If you're just doing them for the sake of doing them, or if you're doing them because it's actually something that's going to fulfill you, it's something that's actually going to matter in the long run. Because things being calm and having all this structure is really good, but it doesn't mean that it's meaningful. It doesn't mean that it's something that's going to actually give you a sense of purpose and a sense of real direction day in and day out. A lot of people fill their days with structure, but they don't really understand what it means to be fulfilled and what it means to actually do something that's going to really matter to them in the long run. And it could be a multitude of different things depending on who you are. It's your job to figure out what that thing is that you're going to be fulfilled by and what you're not being fulfilled by. I'm just here to kind of break down how I think about these things. But what I do know is that if you want to be fulfilled in something, it has to be something that helps you and it helps others. It can't be one or the other, and it has to be both things. But you'll know it's something that's not aligning with you or something that's making you feel off if you're feeling restless, if you're burning out easy, if you have this slight discomfort and not the good discomfort where you're learning and you're growing, this discomfort where you feel like something's wrong. Like that feeling you get when you're walking through a haunted house, or that feeling you get when you're playing a scary game like Resident Evil, that uneasy feeling. That feeling is fine when you're in those certain scenarios, if that's what you seek and if that's what you're into, like me, like the Halloween time and all that good stuff, being scared in a good way. But that feeling isn't useful if it's something that's in your day-to-day life, something that you have to actually do, whether that's your line of work or just how your day is structured and the things you're doing in your day. It could be anything. It can be the most silly thing. If you're always baking cakes and it's making you feel uneasy, then you should probably change it because it's not something that's making you feel fulfilled. If you're just doing something random all the time, and you'll have a quiet dissatisfaction if it's something that's not really aligning with you and something that isn't making you feel fulfilled. You know when it's in that situation, you know it deep down. Your body has weird ways of telling it to you, but you do actually know when you're in that situation. You got to look out for misalignment. There's a quote by Gandhi, I'm paraphrasing here, but it's something like, when what you do, what you say, and what you think are all aligned is when you'll be at peace. And you'll have that dis-ease when one of those three things are off. It's either what you're doing, what you're saying, or what you're thinking. If you're thinking one thing and you're doing a whole different thing, you're going to feel off. And people are going to sense that you feel off too. When you feel off and you have these misalignments, you don't really believe it. Some people don't really believe it, but that stuff radiates off you like crazy. People know when you don't feel right with yourself. People know when you're not authentic. People have a natural BS detector, and they know when you're not aligned to something. They know when you're feeling off about something. It's just something we give off. When you can be misaligned in time usage, who you spend your time with, what you're spending your time on, the energy you're giving off, the energy you're wasting, the energy you're using, the relationships that you have, the relationships that you're keeping around. That also applies to the relationships that you should let go of. And the biggest one is probably personal standards. That's probably the most important one, because if you're misaligned in your personal standards, that's the one that's going to radiate off you and what people are going to sense first. And that misalignment can be unexpressed growth too. I think this is the one I've related to the most recently, because it's a whisper. It's this quiet whisper in the back of your head. It's not yelling at you, but it's whispering at you that you could be doing more. You could be changing things. You have this untapped potential that you're not using yet. And that one really gnaws at you in the back of your head. A feeling off can be a sign that you are outgrowing the place that you're in currently. Remember last video I talked about identity? If your identity isn't fully aligning with who the back of your head is saying you should be or what you could be doing, you're going to have this uneasy pit in your stomach all the time. You're going to feel off all the time because you're not doing what you need to be doing, or you're not tapping into that extra level of what you could be tapping into in whatever area that is. It can be anything. Just like I always mention, I leave these things open for you to fill in the blank. And then I give you a few examples of myself. Like, I keep it super simple. There's untapped potential in, I think, in everybody. This is my opinion. I think in fitness and in finance and in your mindset, as in how you think about things, how you think about philosophy, the philosophy of life, and all these different things. I think there's always untapped potential in those areas. So to me, I always have a constant gnawing in the back of my head, a constant voice in the back of my head to improve those things and to get better at those things. And often you'll find that once you start trying to tap into that potential, that unease, that misalignment feeling will settle. It'll settle down as you start to grow in those different areas. It usually only rises back up, it bubbles up when you're staying stagnant and when you're just doing your day-to-day normal thing. I talk about Groundhog Day on this channel a few times now. Go watch that movie if you haven't. He's living the same day over and over again. And that's what way too many people are doing nowadays. You're getting up and you're going to sleep and you're reliving the same day. You can carbon copy almost every day of your life because you're not doing anything new. You're not challenging yourself. You're not trying to do something cool. You're not trying to do something you really care about, something that's really gonna make you feel better, make you feel alive, make you grow in any sort of way. That's why I'm doing this on here. I think this is actually really cool. I've been actually enjoying this. That's why I keep posting. I'm not the most consistent all the time, but I keep coming back on here even though the channel is super duper small, because I think it's bigger than the subscriber number. And I think there's more to this channel than that subscriber number, but I do want it to get high. I want it to get higher, but that's what's keeping me coming back, because I have deeper reasons for why I keep doing this right now. Number one, of course, is what I've been talking about the whole video: fulfillment. Doing this and actually getting a trickle of subscriber here, getting a like or getting a comment every once in a while, that is fulfilling. It makes me feel like I'm actually doing something. So you got to find whatever that is for you. If you just want to get a bunch of sandwiches or some food and hand them out to people that need them, then that's awesome. Do your thing that way. There's so many different ways you can do these things. It doesn't have to be just one thing, but oftentimes it involves work, and humans feel the most fulfilled when they're working, especially working hard at something that's actually a hard task, something that actually takes a great amount of effort for you to get good at and to help others in. And that task has to help others, like I mentioned earlier, and it has to help yourself. It has to do all those things. It has to be something that you work hard at, that helps others and that helps yourself, for humans to be fulfilled. If one of them ingredients are missing, you're not going to feel fulfilled in whatever you're doing. You're going to feel misaligned. No slight to anybody working at fast food or anything. I did it too. But sure, you're helping others, because you're making their food, right? But are you really helping yourself with the pay? For some of you, the answer is yes. For some of you, the answer is no. That's up for you to decide. Are you working hard in it? I'm sure you've met people in jobs you've had that sat around and did nothing and collected pretty much a free paycheck because they hid somewhere in the back. Do you think they're fulfilled if they're hiding in the back when it's super busy? Do you think people are fulfilled in the majority of their jobs nowadays? A lot of people aren't fulfilled in their jobs. And when you're missing one of those ingredients, that's when you get that misalignment. So feeling off doesn't mean something is wrong. It just means you need to pay attention to it and break it down. Don't hide from these things. And just like I talked about a few times previously about structure and all that, structure is very important. You want to build out structure, but you want to make sure you're building the structure in areas that are actually going to matter and are actually going to fulfill you. Make sure you're working hard at something that's going to help you and help others and help your family, because that's where you're going to get that fulfillment. That's how you're going to get rid of that misalignment and dis-ease that you're feeling. Until then, you're probably always going to have it. And just because you have a super rigid structure doesn't mean you're going to be fulfilled. Just like I pointed out earlier, a lot of people have the most structured lives on earth, but they're not fulfilled. So you got to figure it out. Write it down. Actually take the time to figure out what you want and what you want to get done and how you want to help somebody else, how you want to help yourself. And once you do those things, then you build the structure around that. That's when you really go hard with the structure and go hard with the planning out your days and figuring out how much spare time you have and figuring out what you need to do. That's when you do those things, after you already figure out what is going to actually help you in that misalignment, in that dis-ease. So listen to the signals and figure it out. Well, I wanted to keep it short today. If you found this helpful, consider liking, consider subscribing. If you got this far, of course, my name is TJ. Let me know down below what things you're going to actually try to be fulfilled in. What kind of dis-ease are you actually feeling? Comment that down below. I want to hear about it. But until then, I got some more stuff on the way, and I'm out of here. I'll see y'all.